Okay. I think what we'll do needs, we'll start and we'll introduce, and then we'll give some people time to come on and to join us. And I did tell Chani that we will have some faces. So if anybody else is brave enough to let us watch you doing your ironing or cooking, or whatever it is that you would like us to participate together with you, and we're very happy to do that. But otherwise, I did say there are some real people. And one of the challenges of really being on the Zoom, but one of the gifts of having a Zoom is that we are able to access people all over the country and all over the world. So last Thursday night we were involved and we had a beautiful, we'll watch you eat as well, Nat, that's okay. When you finish eating, you'll join us, don't you worry. But we were, I really say that we were zoiche to have a beautiful chalamek, and then all of our tefillahs at every time should really be answered l'tova. So it's actually a while that I've been trying to say, come on, let's call Chani and let her come and share some wisdom with us. We tried to get to meet each other a couple of weeks ago in Manchester, but we're going to continue trying. The first time that I actually met online with Chani was when she was sharing this. Are you still carrying on? Are you still in the book? The chief.
I'm in the book on my own, but not really sharing it. I have no time.
Let us all to join you. Come on, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But we all have to be able to, you know, the beautiful thing is that we want to carry on sharing, and we're going to share some of your stuff. You'll tell us how to get your magazine, a woman to woman magazine, which is online, with online and hard copy. And the magazine is aimed at women aged 35 and over. So at least we fit into that one. With conversations about relevant subjects in a heartwarming and respectful voice. And I did try and get some people to write. I have to get my ghost to do my writing. So when she's up and ready for the next one, you'll tell us, and we're very happy to share with you as well. And Chani is also, I have to tell you, one of my friends from Manchester messaged me and said, oh, I saw that Chani speaking. Are we talking about menopause tonight? And then she saw it's oil, the oil of Sora. And she said, I said, and so we're talking about the same thing. It's all okay. Don't you worry. So
menopause. Don't worry. I'll put in my menopause. Don't you worry.
Great. Helping Jewish women navigate. Okay, symptoms with dignity in a non-judgmental way. And I have to tell you, as soon as you've even just heard that beautiful, warm voice, we're looking forward to learning and to being inspired and just to being with you. And it's a real pleasure and honor to have you here with us on our, I can't even count, I don't know when we started or when we were, but we just keep on going. We keep saying, you know, and we just keep on going. And I do have my dough ready and waiting. Even though we are blessed this week with, we have a bat mitzvah of a granddaughter. So, yeah, so there's no, so we still got to make our precious challah. And tomorrow I do my sourdough. So we don't give up on any of these things, even when we are treated to be with there. Thank you, Nani. So, yeah, we should share simchas. Okay, over to you, Chani, and thank you for being with us. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. So this week,
Chani, you want to do me a favor? Just give us a little bit of a background. Tell us, you know, so the ladies know who you are, a little bit about.
Okay. You know. Okay. Hi, my name is Chani Shreibhand. I live in Manchester. I'm originally from New York. If you can hear it, then you're very clever. But I've been here for 40 years, so I still understand why I still have that accent, but I do. And I started a magazine called The Uplift Magazine. I started it 4 years ago. We were in paperback. I just wanted to tell you that, Joanna, that we changed it a bit. We're now only online, but you can always have it downloaded. You could download a copy and just print it out for yourself. So that's very, you know, simple. And we do it monthly, whereas we used to do it quarterly. So I started that in my mother's memory. My mother was a Rebbitzin, and she was a cow teacher. She was a lot of different things, an exercise teacher. She was very big in our community here. And when she died, I felt that there was a real necessity to bring her voice to people who missed her. And there were a lot of people who missed her. She used to teach like 120 Keep Fit students a week. And what happened was she was left very, very suddenly. People just felt that loss. So that's a little bit of my story. And now I became a menopause coach. So I'm doing both of that together. And that's why I aimed the magazine very much to the midlife years when we go through all these stages. And that's what I'm going to be talking a little bit about tonight. So this week I reached a milestone in my it's a personal milestone I reached. You know, when you enter your midlife years, you start realizing that life's journey is all about your perception of it. It's not what it really is, it's what your perception is of your midlife year. So in this week's parsha,
Honey,
yeah.
Sorry, somebody just said that your I thought it was maybe mine, so I was just trying my thing, but that your it's not
sound.
So, yeah, your sound's not so clear. Thanks, Sharon.
And I'm going to take it off here. Okay, so do you hear me now?
Is that better? Sharon, is that better? Can everyone hear?
Hello?
Elaine? Okay. Yeah.
Just I was trying a new
new modern technology. Okay, you'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there one day. Anyway, so going back, so this week's Sedra, Parshas Chaya Sora, we open with the pasuk explaining Sarah's life was 100 years, 20 years, and 7 years. These were the years of Sarah's life, which is a very interesting way of saying it. You know, you usually would say Sarah lived for 127 years, but here we're separating each part of it. So Rashi asks, why is each group of years separated completely? Why is it a different entity? And Rashi continues by explaining that this shows that each era of her life was equally good. But isn't it true that Sarah was told to leave her homeland and her family? She was abducted once by Paro and once by Avimelech. She also suffered that for 90 years she didn't have any child. So, I mean, how could all these years of her life have been so considered that they were equally good? I mean, to me, and to most of us, that sounds equally bad, you know? She didn't have this, she didn't have that, it doesn't sound that great, right? When Hashem created the cycle of time, he charged each period of history, each year, every single moment with a unique purpose that cannot possibly be achieved at any other time. So every dar has its own purpose of achievement. We have to achieve a certain thing in each dar, yeah? And each generation has its own challenges to overcome in order to fulfill the ultimate purpose of creation, right? That every day should be used to its fullest potential. Now that's amazing. If you stop and think of it, each day has to be used to fulfill a certain potential. That, to me, that's quite something special, right? So how many times have you heard the expression, and I'm sure all of you have heard it, oh, women, they have it so difficult. It's so hard for them. You know, oh, they have terrible hormones. They have terrible births. If they don't have births, they can't conceive. Everything is like the catchy way of saying it. Ay, she's either too fat, or ay, she's too skinny. She's moody, or she's too happy. She's never, it's always considered in a negative way when we talk about the woman's terrible life, right? And aging, which brings me, and this brings me back to what doesn't bring me back to what I was talking about, my milestone that I reached this week. I celebrated my 59th year, and I was also zeicha this week to see my first grandchild get engaged.
Mazel tov.
It was a really unbelievable, special moment. I was called to America. My daughter said, "We're not making the l'chaim unless you come." So it was like really quite hectic and very quick and very beautiful. And I realized one thing. One of the comments I received got me to think. And somebody said, Chani, my friend, she said this to me. How does it feel to become an old lady? And I thought, here we go again. Why make it into negative? This is the most, I felt, the truth is, honestly, I was so excited. It was such a beautiful simcha. I was quelling from nachas, it did me well, right? And being old was a blessing, because how could you make an engagement of a grandchild when you're 20? It wouldn't happen. First of all, you wouldn't be mature enough in your brain, but second of all, you're too young, right? So to me, every wrinkle and every, my life journey is, you have choices, and our midlife years are the most transformative of our lives. When women experience many challenges, this time, as their bodies go through many changes of, okay, we're going to say menopause again, and you feel a sense of loss. Feel a sense of loss. You lose your way you always were. And also sometimes you feel a sense of like, who am I? What am I worth anymore? I mean, my kids are married. My house is empty. I'm just the grandmother who ships around some love once in a while when they come to me. So it's a very big sense of, who am I? And really, these challenges are what leads us to the reward of our previous work. Now, why is that? When you, like I said before, you can't celebrate an engagement of your grandchild at 20, right? And when I celebrated the engagement of this daughter, who I'm talking about, who I went to her simcha, she was, I must have been almost in my 30s or something like that. And I was young, and I didn't know much, and I was like very worried about what the other side thought of me. And then when I went to this engagement, all of a sudden, I really couldn't care less what they thought of me. I'm mature enough to realize that all that matters is my granddaughter should be happy. And I could be on the sidelines watching, but I don't have to take the responsibility of getting everything done, getting the table set, getting, the machatanim to feel good about themselves. I'm the grandma. I have my tafkid. So I don't physically or mentally feel I could have done it then. And then another thing I saw is, when I was that young, would have I understood to stand on the sidelines? Because, when you have a child who's making simchas, you're not supposed to, I mean, sometimes we do it anyways, but you're not meant to take over that simcha. You're supposed to stand there. You get, mazel tov, how are you? It's so sweet of you to come, or whatever. But you just stand on the side. You are not the main event. And that is really, for me, that was a very big lesson. I was there to hold my daughter's hand when she needed me, but not when I needed to say something to her. If you understand, do you understand what I'm trying to say? If anyone has any questions on what I'm saying, just say so. Okay, so all this comes with the knowledge and wisdom of age.
It was very eye-opening to stand on the sidelines watching my daughter growing into being a mother-in-law. I realized that it was my turn to be at her side for whatever she needed, and only what she needed. So yes, all my years of hormonal challenges were not easy. I'm telling you, they were not easy. I've had one of the most difficult menopause years that a lot of people, say, oh, I had this symptoms, I had that symptom. I had an amalgamation of every symptom you could get. And in the middle of that, my mother died. And in the middle of that, we went into COVID. So it was all mixed in. So they weren't easy, but I am thankful for where those years have led me. And I understand that through Sora's years, when we talk about Sora in the Chumash, and we say that these were her years, her 100 years, her, each separate thing, each part of her life was a journey to become who she became. And who did she become? She became the light, and that's what we say. She is the light of Klal Yisrael. Without her, we wouldn't be anything. She's our mother. She's the mother of women. That's what I would class her as. And I really feel that we have to take that lesson, that yes, women go through hardships. Yes, it's difficult. Our hormones are always swaying and jumping, and we do have a lot of different things going on in our lives, and we have to keep everything running smoothly. Yes, it's true. And like Sarah, who was, she was kidnapped, and she turned around and she said, well, that was good for me. And I think that's what we do. We have to find the good to keep us in a positive frame of mind to be who we could be, and know that each step that we're taking is bringing us to the next, level of our life, which for, hopefully for me, is to be a grandmother one day, and a great grandmother actually one day soon. So I hope that you all understood that and it came across clearly. And thank you very much for having me here. And Joanne, Joanne?
Sorry, I just keep everybody else muted while speaker speaks. So there we go.
Okay, so that really is the lesson that I felt that I wanted to bring.
Okay.
I think you said it was for 45 minutes, but I speak much quicker than that. I don't hear you, Joanne.
I'm just wondering if I'm being muted by somebody else or if that was me touching. Okay, can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay. I said, you still think that we feel that we're so comfortable with all, with all these computers now, and you're still like having a conversation, and we're in the middle of the conversation. It's amazing, honey, because I always remember hearing about your mom and your family, and it was really quite an awesome thing. So when I heard, and I was just so happy, and I thought, there we go, you're just carrying on the normal thing of the family, because it's all uplifting. And it is really about spending our times helping people to uplift. So maybe you just want to just tell us about your organization, what you do, and if there are any questions from anybody. And otherwise, we're going to give everybody some extra time to do some preparations. But if you're happy to just share with us some of that, that would be great.
So I'll show you what it is, actually.
Get them ready.
We have one around someplace. So the uplift is very much about, first of all, it started as, it was part of a charity that we had for many, many years, and it was called the Informal Project. And the Informal Project is, it was geared to family and helping children who are part of the family feel connected within the amalgamation of family. And how we did that was we had different programs for parents, for children, and everything was about bringing everyone together. And then my mother was nifta 5 years ago, which was right before COVID. And then when COVID came, all of a sudden, we started realizing that there was a shift. And the shift was that the children were in the house all the time. If you had young kids, you could, you could make activities and there were things you could do. But when you have a teenager child, after school, she would be the type who would need to go out and play, or there was no way of reaching that child with and connecting with the mother who's been in the house all day and nervous and oh, I can't take this, and she's come, how do I control all this? So that's when we started working really with women. And my biggest thing was working with women of teenage age children. And the reason I felt that was important is there's so much out there for children, for parents with young children, the Ami, the Mishpacha. They write beautifully for that age group because you pick it up, anyone can read it. Whereas my magazine is really quite open. So there's no, it's not something that I would say a child will pick up and read and feel comfortable understanding everything. So let's say we talk about different issues within the Jewish world or within medical issues. And when I never hide what I'm talking about. So if I'm talking about menopause, I say we're talking about menopause. Or if I am talking about weight issues, I will speak about it very openly. I also have a podcast, and I interview a lot of different women, Jewish women, non-Jewish women, but we talk about menopause. We talk about, we have one called The Booby Show, and that we just had a catch up like at the end of the week of what the different boobies and different, I don't know, everyone has a different thing, a grandma, a booby, a baba, but we had like a little discussion about what's going on in everyone's life. Then we had the Shabbos thing the Shabbos project that we had every week. We had a little bit of a talk about the book, and we discussed it very quickly. And I have a lot of different podcasts. We also have a once a month gathering of the women to get together and discuss. We have a menopause one, and we also have just online chat, which is very nice. And we have women from all over the world, that is quite amazing. I have women from Florida, from LA, from New York, from Switzerland. It's really amazing how much of a community we built up on it. And this is what I'm trying to do, is to have this building of a community. And the reason I really feel my mother would want this is because my father was always a Rav. I don't know if you've heard of him. He writes in the Tribune every week. His name is Harav Yitzchak Reuven Rubin. And he brought me up that way. We always were community. That's just my life. It was, now my brother's a Rav in Glasgow. So we've always been that way. And I know my mother had given up so much for the Kehillah because of this type of lifestyle, which means everyone's always in your house or everyone's always saying your problems. And that's just the way. Oh, that's very nice. Jenny, I was a student of your mother. Very, very, very nice. Jenny, there's a lot of, my father still learns with a bunch of people who were students from Fallowfield. It's just an amazing life that they had. And I really feel that that's what I'm trying to give forward, that warmth of what she accomplished. And yeah.
It really is amazing, because when we were student chaplains in Leeds and in London, so even though your father was not student chaplain, he was Rabbi Reuben, and everybody knew him. And in fact, the Koss family are very close friends. So that they are children of, and it's such an amazing thing, because when we see what we actually, the things that we do, and then you being able to be in that place of perpetuating this, it's a thing that we take. Last night in our Bat Mitzvah class, we spoke about the Imahot, and I actually started going, instead of going from Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, you want to start here. And the person's house that we used, because Steve had a simcha, was Fagi, Rebbetzin Fagi Lieberman, who just gave us a house and set everything up downstairs. And it was just like, girls, you know, this is Avram and Sarah's home, you know, and I think that that is something which is so beautiful. And we were in Chaya Sora. So, you know, it's such a, Hashem just connects it all up for us. And we have a beautiful ability.
Joanne, it's that you asked me to speak today because it happens to be my mother's name was Chaya Sora. So, yeah. It was really funny when you asked me.
And that had nothing to do, you know, I know, you know, that's Hashem's way in saying.
Yeah,
you know?
But that's what I was trying to say, because let's say my mother didn't have the easiest of lives. My father was in America, then they went to Eretz Yisrael, and they came to England, and believe me, when they got this job, it was such a far-fetched job. My father is a chassid all the way, and he walked into this United Synagogue shul in South Manchester, and they took one look at him, and he, you know, it was never gonna work. They were too far off the right hand and the left hand, and that's how it really was. But yet he got a bracha to come and to do this, and they accepted him. They loved him, and it was really difficult for them when he retired. They couldn't replace that.
Yeah.
But it was hard for my mother. They had to leave South Manchester, come here. She had to make this whole life again. And I realized, but that every single step of her life led her to a new positive part. And that's really what I'm trying to bring out, is that everything could be, you know, we could translate it, oh, it's terrible. I had to move again. My mother moved a lot of times. Or you could say, yeah, every time I moved, it made me into someone completely different and better. I mean, it's amazing. I mean,
it's amazing. Well, I'll just, before my Chaya leaves my house, this is Chaya.
Hello, Chaya.
Yafa, our granddaughter. She popped in with Papa and now she's running. Okay, we'll let you go. Love you.
Yeah, so that's really what I was trying to bring out. You have to really be positive, if, as much as you can. When nobody walks around all day, everything is perfect today. Nobody does that. That's just not on, you know. We have to be realistic, but realistic doesn't mean depressive and always looking at the bad things. And then there's a lot of good. There is a lot of good.
Does anybody want to ask a question? Any not so shy English people who'd like to maybe ask something of Chani before we close off?
It's okay.
Okay, going. Okay, so what
you
I'm
don't have to ask me any questions, but
you know what we've got it. What we've got to do. You're all welcome. We're going to send you the where they can access and get your online magazine. And if anybody does want to
write it in the comments if anyone wants.
Write it in the comments, and otherwise anybody can get me, and I will send you contact and just here we go. So we go to our hafrasha here, and we will be mafish chala, and we have Shulamit also here from Eretz Yisrael. He just moved into a new place in Yerushalayim. So all the different things, and where's Chaya? She gone because she was there.
I was gonna say hi everybody. It's very late here, so I'm not on camera because I'm already
it's okay, you're
half asleep, but I'm listening in, and that was really beautiful. It was actually resonating because I have had quite a few challenges moving in Israel, as you can imagine, as an English girl used to certain things and they're not happening. So if you have any advice on how to make you put yourself in the frame of mind to, you know, like,
I must tell you something.
there's probably good in the challenge, but I'm not seeing it yet. So I'm just feeling exhausted.
I could imagine. Can I just say, I really feel for you in that respect, because I'm American and I first went to Eretz Yisrael and I moved to Chatzar, which is in the Galil. And in those days.
That's where I started. Yeah, up there, literally. I've been there for 2 months. Now I'm in Jerusalem. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really felt it. And I felt as an American, I was a girl who had just finished SEM, and I went off to you know, live in Eretz Yisrael with all the pioneering spirit in me, and I found it extremely difficult. I had my first child there, and I remember we had a big Silver Cross buggy, and you know the big Silver Cross carriages. Okay, and
Yeah.
we're walking down the
I
mountain.
put
all
my
these
twins in one of
babies
those.
are looking at me and thinking, "Are you mad?"
They're not going to fit here. Yeah.
Really.
Funny. Yeah.
And that is very, very hard. And the truth is, I think the first thing you have to do is start looking, maybe even once a week, make an effort to just find someone that you could connect to and have a little conversation. And it doesn't have to be deep. And it could just be
No,
fine.
I do. I have that. Thank God. I made so many friends here, tons of friends. But at the end, they've all got their families and lives, and I'm here on my own, so it is a bit hard.
It is
And,
hard. It
yeah.
is very difficult. But is there any community, like
Yeah,
exercise group or something like that, that you could use?
yeah. I'm doing all those things for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, though.
Very difficult. It's very difficult. And the truth is, it takes time. It really
Yeah.
does take time. But all I can tell you is, after living there, and I'm here now, and I have this type of life, I really didn't think that. It's funny because that's the daughter who I had,
Yeah.
who's just marrying off, going to marry off a child. And to tell you the truth, I look at that time in my life and I think, how did I couldn't even talk the language. I found very difficult. And the people, they were like totally different,
And we're all begging to get back to be with them.
Yeah.
So that's the,
Yeah, but it's not easy. It isn't easy. It's a different mentality and it's a hard thing to get used to. But slowly, I think you'll start seeing slowly the goodness that's around you and how you could, take it forward. And I think that's what it is. Sometimes I'm just trying to think if you maybe take a course in something, because that would get your mind off what you're doing.
I am doing all the courses. I'm going to all the community events. I'm volunteering and working. I'm a coach as well, so I coach people. I have clients.
I know what you're feeling. It's a very hard situation, but you will get there.
Yeah.
We will.
We'll get there. Just all these little things in between.
Chani, where are you based now? So you're not in Israel now?
No, I'm in Manchester.
Oh, that's where I'm from.
What's your last name?
Well, I was a Vajuka, if you know what that is. Do you know
you know who, not what.
I don't even know why I asked you what your name is.
Oh, sorry. Is that what?
Really terrible.
Is that what you are? What did you ask me?
I said I asked you what your last name was, and I'm thinking I don't even know names, so it doesn't help.
If you're from Manchester, most people who've been there for a long time know my family.
Who's
they were
that?
one of the Vajuka.
Vajuka. I'm not really.
We're forgiving. We're forgiving.
Yeah, I am very good with faces, but really not so good. I was originally. I'll tell you what. I've gone through so many changes in my life. I was a sheitelmacher. I was.
Me too.
Okay. I was
No way, really.
A florist,
Wow.
a teacher, an exercise teacher, and it keeps on going. And I say, but at the end of the day, each one led me to what now I can make a magazine on any subject because I know them all.
Interesting, me too.
Fantastic.
I was also a florist at one stage, and
Oh, really?
manicurist, corporate lawyer, artist, life coach, fundraiser, lots of things.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's it. And it is hard to live. But I feel bad for you because I know where you're coming from.
No, honestly, don't feel bad for me. I'm
No,
fine.
I don't feel bad for her. She's in the best place in the
I'm
world.
loving it here, but it's just that there are
It's
challenges.
just hard. It is, and
Yeah, it's
also
hard.
at the moment, more than ever, it's hard.
Yeah.
I think because the whole situation is, I don't care what anyone says.
Crazy.
Living in the midst of utopia, it's a difficult situation. It's taking up so much of our kishkis, of our insides. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
We get Eretz Yisrael with Yisurin. So,
I was thinking that.
That's what we told. And you know what? That's what we're all going to have to do, and we're going to have to be there. And I think that I feel, like when we see everybody around, and sometimes I just wonder how it is that everybody with everything that they have can just keep on, and somehow we just find it somewhere that we just keep going.
Yeah.
And I just think that is really part of our bracha. It's amazing when people like you, Chani, can come and share that, and then it gives permission. It's like permission to actually say it's okay, it's okay,
and it's okay for it not to be okay.
If we had a perfect life, then we wouldn't be. if we were born with a spoon in our mouth feeding us, yeah, and everything handed on a plate, then actually we wouldn't
growth.
come
Yeah.
to the world. The reason we come to the world is we have a ticket, right? And we have to accomplish things. So if everything would be handed to us spoon-fed, then what did we need to come here for? So
Yeah.
that's the way you have to look at it, you know? Each thing is a struggle, but it's a struggle for our positive outcome.
Okay, that's beautiful. Thank you, Chani. I actually went to a beautiful, amazing musical play last night. Have you heard of Ben Shapiro? Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
So Ben Shapiro's father has written and produced the most amazing musical show.
Oh wow!
And it opened last night in the Jerusalem Theatre with music by the Israeli Philharmonic. They want to take it around the world, and it's about exactly that. And I was thinking, like, yeah, okay, I've got to contend with, you know, flats or apartments that are not clean and that things are falling apart. The door doesn't close properly, but they had to contend with typhoid and, all kinds of war. And I mean, okay, I am in a war, that's true, but my auntie, my mom, the things that they had to go through to come to Israel. So what I have to do is it's by comparison, it's not a lot. I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate.
Look, we all have to say, we're very lucky. We're very fortunate. It is hard. It doesn't make a difference. It's still hard. You still
so the play was actually about the Warsaw Uprising.
Do you know Anne Lopian?
Yeah, I know who they are. Yeah.
Yeah, because she lives. Where does she live? She lives in Shreibhand
area.
Oh yeah, no, I'm friendly with Pearl.
Very good. Pearl.
Actually, I hadn't realised that Anne lives here as well. Maybe I'll get in touch with her.
Anne lives there. I'm just thinking. Yeah, she lives there, and she also doesn't always find it easy.
It's true. Yeah. Maybe I'll reach out to her. I haven't spoken to her.
Yeah, reach out to her. Just tell me again your name so I can.
My name.
Tell her that
maybe afterwards. I'd love to be in touch. Thank you.
Okay.
Robertson Joanne has got my details.
Okay.
I'll give them to you. Okay. Okay. So now with all of us being at the Ohel of Sarah and learning and realizing that each and every one of us really has our space and place that we're going to be able to fulfill our journey in doing the best that we can. And the one beautiful thing is right now is that I actually already am with my Shabbos tablecloth on. And I think maybe it's just because we're not got Shabbos here, but it's usually on by 2 a.m. and my challah will go in. But it's such a process of just always knowing and feeling that Thursday night and we're here and everybody's in their own space and then we leave it and we're still in that place together. And really that's something which is actually just very comforting for me certainly and for everybody, is that we all want to be able to take something and make it people. And when we can do that, then we're really on our way. So let's be mafresh. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu la'afish chala min ha'isa. In the zechus of the mitzvah of Rosh Hashanah, we should have shalom in all of Klal Yisrael, all our refuahs, all our yeshuas, and all for every single person, that each thing and each of the tefillahs that we all need should really be answered l'tovah, and Hashem should take us out of this chaotic place. So together. So just 3 things. Next week, Be'ezrat Hashem, is Ora Goldberg will be with us Erev Rosh Chodesh. And then we have Yemima Mizrahi Rabbanit visiting us on the 10th and the 11th, and you'll see all the flyers. And then I've said I've booked my ticket, 19th of January. The flyer is not out yet. Elaine, just to tell you that the Rebbetzin Zimmerman is available, and I told her to put it in her diary. So anybody that would like to join us, and we'll send out the information, but send me a message if you're interested, and that's January the 19th, Sunday to Thursday. And wishing everybody a beautiful Shabbos. We should make a beautiful Shabbos. And Chani, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you
for having me. It's really a pleasure
to build the world, because we all need it.
Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom. Good Shabbos, everybody, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat everyone. Shabbat shalom.